Alright, I'm at the bench right now and I have a few things here prepared for you. I got different grinding stones and burrs ready to put in use. And what I need to do right now is focus here on the three copings, and what I need to do is check the inside of the coping at one point, because there's always a little bit of adjustment, but it's very little. So I would use some indicator spray, take the dye, spray it on there, and with magnification you can see those very small spots very easily. And let's have a closer look to these copings on what to do. For example, here on the central, what you would do is just look under magnification, and you should be able to see very closely on what needs to be done. But again, it's very little work, very little finishing. Alright, let's get started here on the single central that I have. And after seating it and making sure that the margin is right down where you want it, we need to measure a little bit of the thickness, for example facial or on the margin. And let's check here what we got today. This is a coping right out of the box, and you can see that the coping is give and take between 0.4–0.5 millimeter in thickness. And depending on what you need, really, you can trim this metal down, the laser sintered coping, to 0.3 easily, even if you have spots that are a little bit thinner, like a 0.2 you can live with, but overall 0.3 is what I'm shooting for. So here you can see I got a carbide burr, and if you need to trim out a little bit of the margin to make room for your base dentin or patius dentin, this would be the time you could go over the surface and start trimming the metal without having any issues later on, because we will clean the surface after this with an aluminous oxide of 250 microns. For example, here we have an SLM bridge that was done by Bego, and what I'm really surprised is on the units that I've done so far, from 6 units to 12 unit bridges, the passive fit is just perfect. But every now and then you can or you need to adjust a little bit into approximately from the manufacturing process, and there's a little bit of an overlap of metal. And therefore I want to show you now in the next step on how I adjust these areas very slightly. So right now I got one of the finest discs. It's probably a 0.1–0.2 millimeter disc, and you really just go into approximately here, and the best way of doing it is with magnification, and you trim away a little bit of the metal substructure, and then according to your needs you check it with the die and do more adjustments if necessary. But these are the only spots where I feel you got to pay a little bit more attention to it. Other than that, the coping is pretty much ready to go.